This just happened. The ocean is flooding California's coast, and it's getting worse by the minute. Five minutes ago, the California coastline crossed a critical line. Record-breaking king tides slammed directly into a storm surge, and the ocean is no longer waiting. In Half Moon Bay, roads are being swallowed whole. Harbors are underwater. Tide gauges are surging past anything recorded this year. Emergency warnings have just escalated, and officials say this is not the peak. What happens next is uncertain, but something crucial is amplifying the danger beyond expectations. Major coastal flood warnings now stretch from Mendocino to Monterey, upgraded just after dawn when data from the Point Arena buoy spiked to nearly 25 feet, with wave periods exceeding 18 seconds. The National Weather Service moved fast. Forecasters flagged abnormal surges on the San Francisco Presidio tide gauge. By 5:45 in the morning, alert levels were raised to the highest tier, the first warning of this magnitude in the Bay Area in 2 years. Flooded streets in Half Moon Bay are no longer a projection. They are reality. By 10 Mile, Highway 1 vanished beneath the water, leaving vehicles stranded and forcing emergency crews to reroute traffic in real time. In Pacifica, waves have breached the seawall, scattering debris and triggering reports of early structural cracking. Farther north, Crescent City Harbor jetties were breached before sunrise. Boats were thrown by 25-foot waves, some violently pinned against the docks. The San Francisco Presidio tide gauge is now reading over 9 feet, with projections pushing beyond 11 feet. Officials are tracking a surge 2 to 4 feet above normal high tide. Low-lying neighborhoods are under evacuation advisories, and flood watches now extend inland. This is no longer a coastal incident. The risk zone now spans more than 200 miles of shoreline, placing harbors, piers, and waterfront businesses under immediate threat. Every alert being issued is driven by real-time data. Buoys, tide gauges, traffic cameras, and eyewitness reports are pouring in faster than they can be verified. The situation is evolving hour by hour. Emergency operations centers across the coast are fully staffed, with teams rotating through 12-hour shifts as new data flows in. Harbor masters from Crescent City to Monterey have restricted vessel movement, and multiple small ports are preparing to close entirely if water levels climb further. In low-lying neighborhoods, city crews are moving quickly. Sandbag stations were stocked overnight. Barricades are being staged at flood-prone intersections. Offshore, the sensor network is under constant watch. The Point Arena buoy, which recorded the initial spike, is transmitting wave height and period every minute. The Presidio gauge, already above 9 feet, is being monitored for any sign of renewed surge. Technicians from the Coastal Data Information Program have been deployed to guard against signal loss, knowing that a single outage could leave responders blind during the most dangerous hours. In the past hour alone, more than 100 new flooding reports have come in, forcing dispatchers to reroute patrols and update evacuation routes in real time. No agency is calling this situation contained. Each new tide cycle resets the threat. Officials are drawing comparisons to January 1983, when Crescent City's harbor was torn apart in the dark. Survivors still describe the sound like a freight train moving underwater. But today, the ocean is carrying even more energy. A powerful atmospheric river is acting like a conveyor belt, driving moisture and momentum straight into the coast. Wave heights and periods now rival, and in some ways exceed, the 1983 disaster. This is a compound threat the old playbook never prepared for. High tide is set to peak between 11 and 1, aligning almost perfectly with the strongest wave energy. That leaves a margin of just 90 minutes where floodwaters could climb higher than this morning's record readings. Forecast models show a secondary low-pressure system forming offshore, feeding fresh swell energy toward the coast. Meteorologists warn dangerous conditions could persist through Friday. Along the shoreline, infrastructure is already showing strain. In Pacifica, the seawall extension is under mounting pressure. Engineers have tracked hairline fractures since last winter, but repairs were delayed by funding gaps. Statewide, deferred coastal maintenance now exceeds $1 billion, leaving defenses operating on borrowed time as storm season peaks. 3 outcomes are now possible. If swell energy fades, water levels could begin to drop by late afternoon. If reinforcement continues, evacuations and port closures may stretch for days. The scenario that worries planners most is a direct overlap, peak tide colliding with the next surge. In that moment, seawalls could fail, floodwaters could push inland, and critical infrastructure could shut down rapidly. Right now, all eyes are on the data. Every reading carries more weight than the last. The future of the coastline is being decided in real time. One tide, one warning, one moment at a time.